G'day and welcome to a Down Under Yarn. I am your host Fiona, also known as Fifykins. If you find someone on the intertubes called Fifykins, it's probably me, so please feel free to say g'day. And this is Ninja. Hey Ninja. Ninja's saying hello too. Yes, I know. You're beautiful girl. You are lovely. Okay, good girl. Get down. Okay, anyway, this is episode number 36. Today is Thursday the 5th of September. I'd like to welcome everyone who is viewing this, especially new viewers. Thank you for coming to check me out, and a special hello to those who come back either week after week or from time to time or whenever. It's always nice that you can pop in and we can spend some time together. The week that was. I have not had time to scratch myself this week. We have our federal election on this Saturday and I'm sort of involved. I'm probably more involved than I thought I would be, because I've been helping out our local candidate with some social media stuff. So I've also been helping out at pre-poll. Now, in Australia, I think I tried to explain this last week but didn't get very far. It is compulsory in Australia to turn up to a polling booth on election day and have your name marked off the roll. So polling booths are open on Saturday. Thank you, Ninja, down. Polling booths are open on Saturday between 8 a.m. and 6 p.m. However, if you can't vote on election day, there is also two other ways of voting. There is a postal vote where you fill out an application, the Electoral Commission sends you some ballot papers, you fill them in, you have it witnessed that you've filled them in yourself, put them in an envelope and post them back. Or there's pre-poll voting. Now, pre-poll voting is very, very popular up here because we live in a high tourist area. And we've got a lot of people visiting from down south at the moment. It's the season, the grey nomad season we call it, where people jump in their caravans and head up here, which is fantastic. So it means that we've got some pre-poll stations to man, or to staff at least. And you staff them by handing out how to vote cards. Now, I am not a fan of how to vote cards. I believe that people should have an idea about how the system works, but I understand that's not feasible and a lot of people don't. So they sort of instruct people the way the party would like you to vote. Then it gets confusing because we've got two ballots that they run at the same time. There's the lower house or the House of Representatives and the upper house or the Senate. Now the lower house is your local regional area, so you get a representative, and that's the guy I've been working with. The upper house or the Senate, there are 6 senators elected for each state. So for the whole of Queensland there are 6, and there are, I think, 72 candidates anyway. And there's like 25 different parties or people who've registered for party affiliation that are registered. So you've got the Shooters Party, you've got the Fishing Party, you've got the Sex Party, you've got the Greens, you've got the Fishing and Lifestyle Party. You've then got a lot of the Christian groups very conservative Christian groups run tickets. There you have the option of voting. This is very confusing. You have the option of voting, they draw a line. So you have the option of voting above the line where you just put number 1 in there, or you have to fill out every number below the line, which is up to 85. Now, if you vote above the line, that political organisation dictates where your preferences go. So you have to get a quota or a percentage of votes to get a Senate seat. And say, for instance, you're the Conservative Party and you've got enough for 2 Senate seats, the rest of your percentage of votes will get divided up into other people. So they will go up to the next group. That's how you get some of the minor parties that do get through in the Senate. In the lower house, you have to number every box. It's preferential voting. So if your first preferred candidate doesn't get elected, it gets passed on, it doesn't get 50% of the vote, or in the top 2, then those votes get divided up and the preferences get distributed. So for instance, if you vote for the, just thinking here, one of the minor parties anyway, and they get 10% of the vote. Now, if they're obviously not going to get 50% of the vote because they've got people above them. So those ballots get divided up and they get to their number 2. So if number 2 is one of the major parties, say 80% of the votes go to one side and 20% go to the other, that bumps up their votes. So it's very, very confusing, and I can understand why people get confused, but yeah. So I've been helping with that. Also, answering voter questions. I've had a hotline coming in here on a mobile phone to help out. Something else I didn't think I was going to be doing. I used to work in an electoral office, and so I've got experience doing that, and I was able to volunteer to do that. This week's been a lot quieter than the last couple of weeks, which has been fantastic. Anyway, so come Saturday, it'll all be over. I think one of the joys of being involved is that you are participating in democracy, and it is democratic. The way the polls are going, it looks like I probably won't be that happy with the result, but I will accept the result, and I will continue to be involved because I actually, it's a way I feel I can contribute to society, I suppose. I don't want to stand for office myself, but I'm really happy to support those that do. So there you go. Sorry, that's a bit of political jabber that just happened. So I am sunburnt because of that. Yesterday, I'm sunburnt from, you can't actually see the first bit. That was the top on Tuesday. That was the top yesterday. Today I'm up here. So I'm hoping, I'm actually in a different place today. So I'm hoping I won't get as sunburned. I'm wearing my hat because I haven't washed my hair. I've been wearing a cap when I've been down there. And I haven't washed my hair, and I thought it'd be nice for you to not see my manky hair. This is my own sort of hat that I designed, improvised myself. It is out of Yarn vs Zombies stripy yarn. It was the panda base. It was a club colourway in the tea and stripes colours back very early on this year, and it was solar dyed, and it was the actual yarn that got me interested in solar dyeing. So it's actually quite special to me, this yarn and this hat. And the yarn is beautiful and soft. It's the panda base, which is merino and bamboo, I think, or is it BFL and bamboo? It's one or the other. So really, really lovely. And yeah, so on my notes, I think I called it the Zen Panda hat or Panda Zen or something, whatever I called it. I talked about how I did it. So I basically made up as I went along. I knit half an inch or so, just stockinette. Then I did some ribbing. Then I think I increased, I can't remember, it's all on my notes anyway, knit a heap and then did rapid increases at the back. So yeah, I might write it up one day. It's not really that flat, it's not really that, it's just a pattern. Anyway, the weather has been interesting this week. Clouds have just come across. We've had some showery days, which is not very conducive to dyeing. Yesterday morning, my new dyes arrived that I'd ordered, some replacements and some new ones, and yes, Denja, I know you're there. And I mixed up all the dye stocks because it was nice and sunny outside, soaked some yarn, and as soon as I finished mixing up my dye stocks, it was raining. And it rained on and off all day. Today and last night it was heavy showers. So I think we've had half an inch of rain. For this time of year, that's sort of, I suppose, not that unusual, but we've had such beautiful days. There you go. As soon as I speak, the sun's come out behind me. So this morning I thought, bother it, I will do some dyeing. I've got some custom orders that I've been trying to get done. So I have some down there. I've got my reflective mats behind things, and I'm hoping they'll catch enough sun to dye. If not, I'll think of something else to do, or people will have to wait, unfortunately, for custom orders. It's just the nature of the business, I suppose. But still. On Sunday, we had the end of the Cairns Festival. It was Father's Day here in Australia, and traditionally in Cairns we have what's called Carnival on Collins. Now, Collins Avenue is a street that runs past our Botanic Gardens precinct. So they open up the street and the Botanic Gardens and have a whole lot of stalls, carnivals, music and everything. And the fibre crafters have a tent in the community section, and we can, two options, you can display your wares and sell them, and the club takes a commission, or you can just be there and demonstrate stuff. I did a bit of both. I took some of my hand-dyed yarn along, and also I sat there and spun, and I also did some knitting because I got frustrated. But I'll get to that when I get to spinning. So it was good, and I did sell a bit of yarn, which was very nice, to people who I had no idea who they were, and they've taken cards. I did have one lady who came along and complained. She thought it was an absolutely exorbitant price, that I was charging $26 for 100 grams of yarn, because she can go to Spotlight and she can get balls of yarn for $3 each. Anyway, I said that's fine, she can continue going to Spotlight. I didn't want to argue with her. But yeah, she was actually quite adamant that she thought I was ripping people off. So yeah. Anyway, let's get into some knitting, hey? I have a finished object. Yay! Hello. You say hello to everyone? You say hello. Okay. Ninja says hello. Ninja says hello. Ninja says hello, everyone. I really love you. I'm trying not to bark. I'm trying to be really good here. Where's Kong? Where's Kong? Where's Kong? Where's Kong? Right. She's got some biscuits in the Kong. She can't work out how to get them out, so it's quite good. Hopefully that'll keep her entertained for a bit. It's like having a toddler around, having a 2-year-old Labrador. Yes. Yes, there's your Kong. That's right. Excuse me. Here, here, here. Let's take this off now. Over the balcony. My finished object is my windswept. Now I haven't blocked this, but I have woven in the ends. I had a lovely weekend the other evening, very impromptu, with Sarah, which was nice catching up with Sarah, who I can caught up with, and I wove in the ends. Now, I really do like this. Don't get me wrong. Okay, so this is the windswept pattern by Tin Can Knits. I used the Shalimar Yarns Breathless DK. It's a Camp Loopy, my Camp Loopy 3 project. And the Shalimar Yarns is, I think it's 80-10-10 Merino Cashmere Silk. Beautiful and soft. Beautiful to work with. Loved working with it. I did alternate skeins going down the body. I didn't alternate them on the sleeves or on the bottom stockinette section, but I think I've been lucky and you can't actually tell. Alternating down the body was fantastic because there's this garter band there, so I was able to alternate at the garter band on the back, and it's not really, you can't tell. Now, I didn't lengthen the body at all. I knitted it to length. This hasn't been blocked. I could probably... Who was I watching last week who did the big thing of trying all these things on? Yeah, you'll probably know. Anyway. So there we go. Look, I've got this thing underneath it, but that's probably not bad. So remember, this hasn't been blocked. I do like it. I love the lace work on it, and I do like the shaping on it as well. Now, excuse me, I'm trying to sort of, however, the length at the moment goes just to there, which is my just below my belt band. So I'm not too sure about that. I'm thinking I may in future actually, I'll see how it blocks, but I would like an extra inch or two on there. I measured it, I measured the length from underarm to down there, and at the time I thought it was going to be fine, but I'm not convinced by it. The sleeves, I only wanted short sleeves, and I'm actually quite, I don't mind these. I'm convinced they're not the same length, but apparently they are. No, I'm not sure. I think I've done an extra couple of rounds somewhere, but no, they're the same. Anyway, but still, it was a really lovely knit, although I was very rushed at the end. Camp Loopy was meant to finish, of course, on the 31st, which was Saturday. I finished this Sunday evening, my time. It had probably gone into early on the 1st in Hawaii, which I figured was the latest time. I've still submitted it. I got in just in time for the Stockinette Zombies for their knit along, and if they disqualify me, I'm fine with that because technically I was a bit late. I think it's going to be a great garment to wear up here. I've got a couple of singlets that I'll wear underneath it, white singlets. So yeah, really, really happy with it, except for the length bit. And sitting here now, it's riding right up over the back, and I've got a big bit of back exposed. So I think I am going to have to lengthen it at some stage. But yeah, that's just where I picked up. Okay, so yeah. What else can I say about this? Not a lot. The lace really broke up the monotony of it, which I really, really, really enjoyed. And I love the way the lace looks like the windswept coast, I think it was meant to look like. Yeah, so that is that. That is my only finished object. After that, I think my knitting mojo kind of went, ugh. I stayed up Saturday night until all hours trying to get some done. And I thought I'd finished the lace section and only had to do the garter ribbing on the bottom and the garter strips on the bottom. And then I remeasured it in the morning and thought, no, I really need to do an extra inch or two. So I'm glad I did that. Otherwise, I would have, it would have been even shorter. Sleeves I'm happy with. I'm happy with the way it sits, especially around here. I love the way it comes over the bust. I did allow for a bit of negative ease, and not as much as they recommended, but obviously I did the right sort of amount because I think I like the look of it on me. So yes, that is the Windswept by Tin Can Knits. My work in progress, which I did pick up and have knit a bit on, sorry, here I am. I'm just a bit all over the place today. This is the Quaker Yarn Stretcher by Susan Ashcroft. Now this is knit out of my hand spun, so I'm quite happy to be doing that. I misread the pattern to begin with, and I'm sort of following her pattern but doing my own thing, so it means it probably won't be as reversible as her original one, because I'm just, yeah. Anyway, what can I say? I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry, because I don't mind the way this is knitting up. There we go. It's one of those sort of, biasy shawls where you keep knitting and knitting and knitting and knitting until you run out of yarn. This is my hand spun. Here it is, rolled up. This is the Squish Fibre Arts Polworth. That was the first yarn I spun on my new wheel. I think I've got 300 and something yards, and it's just 300 yards or thereabouts. Susan says that you can usually stretch about 250 yards into a decent size shawl, or scarf, so that's what I'm doing. Really easy knit, and it's nice and mindless, so I can just sit there and just knit away, which is probably what I need at the moment. I've got a whole lot of socks I want to finish as well. I'm not casting anything new on until the Stephen West knit along, and that is that's coming up in a couple of weeks. I am dyeing up some yarn for that myself, so that's a bit exciting. That, I think, I do have notes here, you wouldn't believe it, but I do. So that, I think, is about all the knitting. Into spinning, at Carnival on Collins, I plied together the Moseley Park BFL, the Steph that I had, and really am loving this. I haven't washed this yet, so I think there's a tiny bit of a twist at the bottom, but that should definitely wash out. I'm really, really, really pleased with this. First time spinning BFL, and yes, there's still some thick and thin bits in there, some bits that could have probably been plied a bit more. Then again, you get quite some thin bits. If I can get that consistency all the way through, I'd be thrilled. But hey, I'm really, really pleased with this. I took my niddy noddy along to wind it off, and I still haven't worked out how much my yardage is because I lost count. People kept coming up to talk to me and, what are you doing there? And kids were really fascinated with the spinning wheel. And then older people as well who said, oh, my mother used to have a spinning wheel, but it looked nothing like that because I've got the Sidekick. I said, oh, this is a fairly modern one, and yeah. A couple of people questioned me why I did it, and I just told them it was a post-apocalyptic craft, and when the zombies come, my family's going to be clothed. Hey, I'm sure the zombies have got hair I'll be able to shear, and we'll be fine. Why do you think I spin, you nutters? Spin so I don't kill people. Then I took along the Gotland that I got from Yarn vs. Zombies. And let's just say it's spinning fine. It's spinning very, very, very fine. and I have found that I've had to put a lot of twist into it or else it just keeps breaking. That's also because it's spinning fine. Now, did I mention it's spinning fine? I had trouble at the start. I'm used to spinning straight from the braid, just dividing the braid. This one I tried to divide the braid, and it's just not that sort of braid that you can do that with. So I found that I've had to start fanning out the fibres in order to get them spinnable. Then I thought, why don't I just go along to Fibre Crafters, borrow the drum carder they've got there and drum carders. That's what I'm going to do tomorrow. But you can see once you actually get it going and get these out, beautiful long staple lengths, and it's really, really soft. So I do want to get this done because it is quite nice. I'm not sure. I think it might. I didn't divide it up because I was there, so I was thinking I might try Navajo plying. I have never Navajo plied before, and because it's quite thin, I probably would be okay doing that. But one of the spinning ladies there said, "Ooh, it might be too thin to Navajo ply," so I'm not sure. Now, I have this in one of my Yazzie.com bags. Now, I'm going to do a special program about Yazzie. There's a special episode because the amazing Yasmina from Yazzie has sent me a whole lot of bags to look at and review. This is the one I have been using, and that's the insert that I put my fibre into. So, not going into that now, but just saying that is definitely coming up because absolutely amazing. I know there were some podcasters earlier in the year that did some reviews, and yeah, really, really like it. Acquisitions. I do have some acquisitions, and they were ones that I'd forgotten about, which is always good. You know, when your post turns up and you go, oh. So I have 2 yarns that came from Yarn vs Zombies. So I managed to get my acquisitions out and press stop recording. Yay, go me. So these were my surprise acquisitions I didn't remember were coming. I knew one was coming, but the other one I'd forgotten about. It was a total surprise. So both came in the same bag from Yarn vs Zombies. This is the from the T&N Downton Club. It is the Kitchen Maids colourway in a tweed base. 85% superwash BFL, 15% nylon tweed, 100 grams, 438 yards. That's actually semi-accurate for the colours. It's beautiful mauves and pinks with the flecks all through it. There was a mitt pattern that was popular earlier this week in the popular pattern September fingerless mittens or something, which I'm probably going to use this for. I think that'd be perfect for it. This is just lovely. So really looking forward to doing something with this. The other one was the Traveller, Yarn Traveller. Now, this is, I'm naive, I suppose. I haven't travelled a lot in Europe. I didn't realise that Germany had islands. And this is from one of the islands that Kiki's grandma likes going to. It's the Voltwanderer, I assume is somehow kind of what you say, yarn. Oh, sorry, if you haven't got yours yet, I'm failing a bit at this today. I'm sorry. But this is just beautiful. It's gorgeous. It's very autumnal and not something I would normally gravitate to, but the way this is done together is just beautiful. Oranges and olives, and it's just beautiful. It is a Norse Bath. It's 80% superwash pole with 20% nettle, and the nettle gives it a sheen. This is definitely going to become a shawl. I'm not sure what shawl yet, but it's 440 yards. So yeah, it's beautiful and soft. So I also got with the club, that's what I was getting out when I turned the thing off, some Be a Gin design stitch markers, which are really lovely. And with the Downton Club, I got tea, which smells beautiful, and a gorgeous little charm as well, which I think is very, very cute. So that was that. Now we're going to head into shop news. If you are not interested in shop stuff, that's fine. I understand. I will see you next week. Hopefully it'll be a lot quieter next week, and I will be back to recording on Wednesdays. Big news for the shop is we're having a knit along. Well, I'm not actually, I'm sort of having a knit along. Joyce from Aussie Yarning is having a knit along in October, and it is a Martina Bem knit along. And she has suggested that people use Solar Flare Fibres yarns. So I said that's a really, really great idea. Here's a discount code. So if you would like to participate in the knit along, head over to Joyce's podcast, which is Aussie Yarning. She has her website, which is aussieyarning.com, and she also is on YouTube. And if you watch her latest episode, which I think is from last Friday, you will find out the discount code. And there are more pre-orders going up tomorrow. So it's great. So many people have ordered already, which is lovely. And apart from that, I do have some items going up in the shop tomorrow. I've only got a few because the weather hasn't been that flash, but I was able to get some done last week before it turned. And they're all oldies. There's no new colourways this week, although I'm hoping there will be one next week because... So the first one we have is Rock Face. That's sort of accurate. It's the bluey grey colour. And these are already ball banded as well, because I took along to the Carnival on Collins. So bluey grey with flecks through it. As my good friend Tess said, it reminds her of a blue heeler dog. So she's got it to knit some Bronco socks to match her dog, which is kind of cute. That is in the Apollo base, which is 80% BFL, 20% nylon. Also in the Apollo base, I have a Julia. That's got the greens and the reds and the browns through it. I have a Julia in the Sol base, which is the 490 yards of 100% superwash merino. Very, very soft. And it's hard to believe it doesn't actually have silk or cashmere. It is very, very soft. And also the Play Misty for me in the Sol base as well, which is the light greys. And I think actually they're all fairly accurate because it's an overcast day. That's what I should always do, is make sure it's overcast when I record. So I'm not going to put photos in. And to make life easier, I'm probably not going to put the names underneath, but the shop will be updated tomorrow morning. I think that's about it. Make sure you head over to Joyce to watch her podcast, participate in her knit along. I will also participate. I will also encourage people to head over there. There will be a skein of Solar Flare Fibres up for grabs for the winner in your choice of base and colour. So that is something that's coming up as well. Another reason you might want to participate. What else? I think that's it. I am all scatterbrained today, and I do apologise. It has been a hectic week, and it's stressful when you're in the midst of a campaign. No matter what happens on Saturday, I'm glad we do live in a country where they don't stand over you with guns to make you vote a certain way. If the other party does get in, hey, we do it all again in 3 years' time. And yeah. Anyway, I think that's it. So I'll see you all next week. Hooroo, cheers.